All right, so today we are going to do a tutorial of how to letter. This is something that has been asked for, so yeah, I'm not like super confident with my lettering. It's definitely still something I'm learning how to do, but I would love to share the tips and tricks of stuff that I have learned so far. And here comes Alfie. All right. Hi. You want to say hello? Do you want to say hello? We're going to start with lined paper. I'm actually starting at the back of this notebook, but also look at how friggin' cute this notebook is. It's got astronaut cats all over it. I got it at Target. Anyways, starting off with lined paper gives you the ability to really see how big each of your letters are, and it's great for practice. And then, let's put that off to the side. Pens. So, it was recently my birthday, and my friend Chelsea gave me these Crayola signature blending markers. Alright. I'm great at this. We're gonna try this out today as well, because why not? And so I'm opening these now. Never been opened before. And I'm just throwing the garbage on the floor like the trash person that I am. So this is a beautiful case, first off. And then these are interesting. Like, where do they open? Here? Okay. Ah! Classic. They're kind of stinky. I wonder if they're alcohol based because they're blending markers. I don't see any. Oh yeah, I already took off the words. That's why I don't see any. Okay, let's. 14 rich saturated color for superior blending, featuring 2 colorless blenders, markers that lighten shades or remove areas of color altogether. They work best on blending marker paper. So maybe we should do some of this on marker paper too. It doesn't say, it says they're non-toxic, but they stinky. So yeah, I don't know what this means. All right. So let's look at these colors. All right. Cool. Should I maybe zoom out for this part? Probably. All right. Let's get you up a little bit. All right. So these are Crayola markers. Those are new. And then I just have my super tips as well. And then I grabbed like an assortment of other stuff that you can use for lettering too. So we'll just kind of see how this goes. All right. So my first, okay. Now we need to come back down, huh? So let's start off with some of the easier stuff. One tip is that if you map stuff out with a pencil first, especially when you're beginning, that will help a lot. So I'm going to grab a pencil. Any pencil will do. And let's just, so we can start really big. And I usually just go for like cursive. I'm by no means an expert. This is just... Alright. It's giant. And then we can go a little smaller. Okay. So that's like a base, right? And I wish I had $1 million. Wish I had $1 million. No, I wish I had my, what is it called? The like eraser. Y'all, words are really hard sometimes. This is another reason I map everything out before I letter, is because sometimes I just forget letters, forget whole words. It's great. Usually the pencil isn't a problem, especially when you have a kneaded eraser. I got there, just took a little bit. So when you have a kneaded eraser, it's much easier to like not erase everything. I'm just pressing super lightly with my eraser. I also letter super slow. So you have to remember that all of the lettering stuff that you, well, not all of it, but most of the lettering stuff that you see, it's like super sped up. Let's do Crayola Super Tips first. I'm just gonna pick the color, and so the basics of doing like calligraphy, I don't think this is necessarily actually considered calligraphy, but I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Is you want thin upstrokes and then thick downstrokes. So I just go thin, thick, thin, thick. And if you need to pick up your pen in between strokes, that's totally normal and fine. And you can see it's got like a couple little, it's hard, y'all. Most of mine looks kind of shaky. I don't have like super steady hands, so it's never perfect, but you know, when you're doing it in a bullet journal, in a fast video, or like even when you're just looking at it because it's small, it's, you know, it looks better. So like this example, like these lines, see, you can see that this line is shaky. But when it's a little bit further away, it looks fine. You really don't, it doesn't have to be perfect, and like you can't expect yourself to be perfect from the get-go. All right, let's pick another color for, so we did this like tealy blue up here. Maybe we should just do like a lighter blue. So up, down, I didn't follow my words. I didn't follow my pencil lines at all there. But who cares, right? That's not my eraser. Okay, so then you just go back through. The only worry about doing pencil underneath is when you're doing really light colors, if you do pencil, like that's why you want to erase beforehand, is because if you do pencil underneath, like, okay, let's do pencil. All right. So if you just leave it like that and then go over it, especially with a light color, I'll show you with the dark color too. But you can see it through. Which, I mean, if that's what you're going for, sure, why not? You could also, if you do that on accident, no, that's too thick. That's the same size. What the jack? Oh my gosh. This is that's a 0.5. That's also very thick. All right, well, this is thinner. So if you do this, you can go over the pencil with black so you don't get that graphite shining through. And then you can go around and erase any lines that aren't there. Oh, I don't think I showed you that you can't erase. Alright, so we'll let that dry. And I'll show you what I mean. So you can kind of erase it, but it's still there. I don't know if you can see that. So when you're practicing, you know, you can practice like up, 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 down, 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 down. You can try like this. To kind of get the flow, which I obviously don't have great control over. Or if this is too hard and you just want something that looks good, so let's do, all right, well, this isn't a kneaded eraser, but it's a rubber one. So I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna map it out first. And then I'm just gonna write the whole word with this jelly roll. All right, so now you can go back through and thicken your downstrokes. I don't do this super often. I do think it yields like a slightly better result, although this one's kind of janky. And that's because you're going super slow and adding extra thickness instead of trying to do it all at once. It can look a lot neater, unless apparently you're me and you make it look bad. Oh, sorry, that was all out of focus. Okay, for a second I was like, is that supposed to be a J? It is a G. Why can't I focus on anything? It is a G. So, it just looks wrong because of jelly like jam. Whoa, there was just a squirrel parkouring outside my window. Okay, a lot of people recommend the, Super Tips because it's a pretty like thick, hard nib. So you can press really hard. You can get really thin lines, but then you can also press really hard. I mean, that is not a great example. But see how I like pushed it over? So I almost think it's better to like do it all on one side and then turn your pen. That one's a little bit better than that one, but y'all, having a hard time. And then, you know, the main marker that you see used for bullet journaling is these Tombow pens. They are fancy and very expensive. If you want these pens, they are water-based, so you can get watercolor-like effects with them. I find that they bleed through a lot of journals. Even my loooong, which has like really thick paper, these can bleed through. So I just use actual watercolors rather than these pens. But I know a lot of people really love them, and they're nice for lettering. They're dual-sided, so they've got this thick tip, and then they have skinny tip on the other side. So if you wanted to, you could switch back and forth, like, but that seems awful. Would not recommend. So, since these are a lot bigger than, you can see the difference. Like, short, stubby, fat, still has a fine tip. And this one's more of like a brush-like one, because they brush markers. You know, all right. So, you do the same thing. You go thin, thick, and the hard thing for me is like doing so little pressure, because you do not need a lot of pressure to get these thin lines. Like, I mean like barely any pressure. Yeah, I don't know. I like that these come in a lot of pastel colors. I don't like that they bleed through everything. So a lot of these have bled through. This, I would say, is like the worst. I'm honestly surprised I can't see any purple on this. But this is also just like notebook paper. But your average bullet journal doesn't have very thick paper. I don't think they put the GSM on just like regular paper. I've got a couple other markers. Yeah, and this paper is so thin that you can even see I'm ghosting through like not like 2 pages. Hot damn. All right. So this is the loooong sketch marker. It's also got a super brush. I mean, it says super brush. It does. Can you see that? Can you see it? Super brush is what it says, which is wild. And then it's also got this really fine tip. Honestly, I like this fine tip more than the nib from the Tombows. I like that you can get super detailed with these. Whereas like these are a little bit like, that's the finest, and then you get the lump. Whereas like this, it's a thin line. Oops. Jeez. Okay, get it together. Get it together. Oh shit. Okay. So, one thing you can do to practice is literally just write out the alphabet. And my biggest thing with hand lettering is, like, you can look at other people's stuff for inspiration, but it really needs to be based off of your own handwriting. Because if you're trying really, really hard to make it look like somebody else's A, you can get there with a lot of practice, but I'm lazy and I would rather just write in my own handwriting. So I'm just going to write my name because, you know, self-love, right? Ooh, I messed that one up. Not going to forget how to spell my name, right? Okay, so this one on this paper, it kind of seems to like expand. Maybe I was just pressing too hard. Yeah, I think I was just pressing too hard. So let's try it again. I think these are just really juicy. Another thing you can do, instead of like switching back and forth like I talked about earlier, you could also write out your word with the small side first, except I hate that. So we're gonna try again. I can do it. I can write my name. Why are U's so ugly? I just like don't like U's. And then you could go and do the same thing by making the downstrokes thick with your brush pen. Ooh. Although, you know, maybe you'll do it better than I do, because that looks worse than that. So maybe don't do that. Maybe I'm a liar and that looks so bad. It's bad. Okay. Well, maybe that's not the way to do it. Maybe if you're doing stuff really big, because this looks good. This L. Choice. But these little letters, they ugly. So let's write really big. Oh no. It's getting dry. That's wild, because I have not used this orange so much that it should be dry. Oops. Oh no! It was looking pretty good until I tried to fix it. Oh no. Alright, I think that looks a lot better than that. And like honestly, that looks better than my normal hand lettering. So, if I was really worried about it being perfect, which, let's be real, I am not. Except for right now, apparently, because I'm like, because if I let myself try to make it perfect, that's when I start to go insane. And I'm like, oh gosh, oh, what about all this? So, that is a pretty beautiful ugly. Don't you think? I think it looks great. I'm gonna try these. Let's try out these Crayon markers. I'm gonna stick with orange because I've been doing orange. Whoa, these like really spread. Do you see that? So that one is ugly. Also, I do not. I mean, okay, I was gonna say I don't like it, but I do kind of like that orange color. That's not too bad. Maybe, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Those bled through bad. That's the other thing, is if you're really going over stuff over and over and over again, you're gonna bleed through. Should we try on marker paper? I think so. Okay, all right, I'm back. I got this B paper, marker paper, which I'm not really a marker artist, so I don't know why about marker paper, but you know, maybe for this. Oh, that was so hard to open. Did you hear that? It was like, damn. All right, so this is bubble gum. That's ugly. You don't see this shit? This is what it looks like when I write and I don't like map it out first. So don't be mad at yourself, because this is hard. Yikes. Okay. I want to see. That is really nice on this marker paper, though. The lettering is not, but the like flat. So these are. Okay, this is friggin' annoying because it's rolling around everywhere. They're supposed to be blendable. Oh, do you see this? It like splattered. Oh! Oh no! It bled through all the way. Well, I'm not even gonna do more of these because I definitely can't blend them in my bullet journal. These might be fun for like art pieces, especially if you want to mess around with markers and you don't want to. I'm assuming they're not super expensive because they're Crayola. I know Crayola has some like professional stuff, but if you want to mess around with markers and do like illustrations with markers, these might be like a nice step into markerhood. So I think, but even with marker paper, that's wild. It does smell like alcohol. Ooh, I shouldn't have put my nose so close to it. That was stinky. Okay. Anyways, so these I might use for like art pieces, and messing around with markers and stuff, because they're definitely too intense for bullet journaling. And yeah, I mean, I think that's all I have to say about lettering. There are obviously like tons of fun ways to letter that you don't have to do like calligraphy style for. I do a lot of, not a lot. I don't do a lot of different styles of lettering. Let's see if I can find a page that doesn't have like a bunch of personal information. I guess like I really like these headers here that have the capital letters and then the like little cursive underneath. Oh, here's a fun page that has like pictures and stuff. I just don't want you to read the words on it. Ugh. Okay, so there. So like this, I loved doing this. I literally just took a bunch of like the loooong and the tombos and did rainbow. So I would do red and then orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, like that. And that was super fun. This was for my June. If you want to see my rainbow setup, I don't do flip throughs because like I do a lot of actual journaling in here and it gets kind of private, but this is for my graduation. And yeah, so there are lots of ways to letter. You don't have to feel like you absolutely have to learn how to do calligraphy. You can mess around in so many ways, you know? So like just look at Pinterest, dang, all the way through, yo. Okay. There's so many ways to do this, and I hope that this was kind of helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to do some more of these kind of weird me talking while I'm doing stuff videos, because when I'm just doing voiceovers, I don't know, I'm not reacting as much to the situation as it happens. But if you liked this and you found it helpful, I already said all this. Okay. You know, like, subscribe, whatever. Stick around. If there's any other videos that you would like to see, I would love to hear your ideas. I really like making videos, and I make them every Friday. So, yeah, check it out, baby. Okay, bye. Oh.